Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Sniper signing in to Command & Conquer Red Alert 3 on the map Infinity Isle, spawning on the left side as the purple Empire player. This is Messican. And his opponent, spawning as the orange Soviet player. This is H20 Chris. Starting off with that single solitary racks, double racks, triple racks coming out from Messican. More than likely, yes, indeed, gonna send on a crush core. Gonna go see if he can catch this warbear. Can he do it? No, indeed he cannot. Chris is paying too much attention, and that crush core will be very, very unsuccessful. One dojo is going to be deploying as per the standard back home at base just to get that engineer out, go get the safe capture on this oil derrick. Gonna go ahead and be deploying his refineries in the background as well as an additional power generator because you do not want to go to that low power status. As it seems, Messican, he is going to be trying to get an engineer out, and he's gonna be trying. Will he do it? No, he's not gonna get an engineer. Okay, he is certainly not going to be getting an engineer. That is the end of that flak trooper. And using cash bounty only on a flak trooper, if he got that terror drone in position, and if he tried to use the terror drone to go get the kill on that Imperial warrior, that might have really and truly been worth it. I guess I don't know. I probably wouldn't have used the cash bounty, but that's just me. But now Chris has got an engineer just stuck out in the open, and he can't capture this oil derrick. Why? Because there are two Imperial warriors sitting in that garrisonable structure, and if he tried, then they would come out and say hello with their energy blades or their katana. Oh no, I guess since they're Japanese, they're more of katanas. I guess it would be energy katanas. But Chris is going to be very disappointed to come across here and see that there are walls up, a little bit of a crack, walls up on top of these refineries, and it's going to stop the direct harassment from that terror drone. But it's also going to cause trouble for, these two sickles going to be jumping into those walls, circumventing it just a wee bit. Oh, that terror drone going to have to be very careful. That is guaranteed going to be one dead harvester. He will get one dead sickle for it. Will he get the other sickle? Yes, he did. I think he did. Yes, he did. He got the other sickle. So that's one harvester traded for two sickles traded for one harvester, rather. Not the most cost-efficient thing in the world. However, once you factor in the lost mining time from Messican, there's probably a silver lining in there somewhere. Messican already starting to mass up these Tengus. Standard Empire play coming out, gonna go get some harassment done. Bullfrog already on the ready. Engineer's still here. He's gonna want to be careful. And if Messican's paying attention, he could go try and snipe that Bullfrog. And that is going to be one dead terror drone. It's going to try to run in there. However, not very successful at all. Messican just being so ever annoying with those Imperial warriors in the garrisonable structure. About half health on that harvester, or on that collector. A little less than half health, about 40% on this collector. Hammer tank will chase away the aggressing Mecha-Tengus, but that does put that prospector in heavy damage mode, or that collector. I keep calling it things that it is not. That collector, that ore collector, the ore collector will be in heavy damage mode, so it's going to harvest ever so more slowly, which at this point looks like Chris might actually be suffering from a little bit of a dying bank account. I believe that he is cash stalling pretty hard, which is why he's struggling to finish this refinery. See, there it goes again, just stalling out. Chopper VX's T2 switch up has already happened. Only one Bullfrog on the map. If these choppers are microed effectively, which they are not being microed, one chopper's dead. Will another one go down in its place? No, the Tengus are just going to flash commit. Another chopper does show up. The honorable discharge takes out the only Bullfrog. So now that chopper has got some free range just to really do whatever in the world it wants. But luckily for Chris, he did throw down that cash bounty. That was good use of cash bounty, using to get some well-needed money, some well-needed funds back from his forces. Even if they only were about a fourth each, that's still very, very nice indeed to have. Imperial warriors is trying to get a few shots off on that ore collector. Not going to be very successful. started building a crusher crane as it looks like, but I'm not entirely sure Chris really has the funds for that right now. Repairing wall segments, not the best use of your money in the world, but third ref just now going down for Messican. Well, he's not really doing a whole heck of a lot in terms of aggressive harassment. I said, oh, that's that bullfrog that went down. It still had the engineer in it. That bullfrog that went down still had the engineer, so now he's Chris having to replant a barracks, gonna finally get control of his oil derrick. So it's this entire game, Messican's had this one derrick advantage on over Chris. It's just absolutely no contest. Thanks to that engineer sniper at the very beginning was indeed very, very significant. Still heavy damage. Does this one make? Yes, both of Chris's main base harvesters, or main base collectors rather, are now on that heavy damage mode. With them being on heavy damage mode, that's going to be bad for a couple reasons. One is if they are, or so they're constantly left mining on heavy damage mode, they're going to bring in money at a reduced rate. So his income per minute, Chris's that is, will go down as a result. And second reason is if you leave them on that heavy damage mode, they're easier to be sniped later. With, as it seems, that Tengu managed to do just that. He flew in, landed, and trashed one heavy damage harvester, or one heavy damage collector. And that Chopper VX just got deleted straight out of the sky. Two bullfrogs are very unhealthy for a Chopper VX to be flying around. Chopper VX, let me say, when we all know, they use basically paper mache for armor. So Bullfrog's flat cannon does an inconceivable amount of damage. And scratch one dojo core. Terror drone locked down. Here comes that twin blade. Bullfrogs are here to try and cover the twin blade. One Tengu dead. More than likely two Tengu dead. Yes, that's going to be three Tengu dead now. They just landed next to these three hammer tanks. The twin blade did go down, but there's no answer from Messican. Messican has no answer for this refiner, for this little hit squad of three hammer tanks and two bullfrogs. There's just no answer. Some tank busters or a handful of tsunami tanks would really hit the spot right now, or would really be able to push this back. But he's not going to be able to save that refinery, no question at all. That refinery does indeed wind up going down. Tengu harass. That collector is going to go down. So scratch another collector. Already starting to rebuild it. Nice play on Chris's part. Already starting to get our replacement collector ready to go. Did wind up capturing that derrick. Not building anything else. It looks like he started to build a naval yard down here. I think there was some debris from the naval yard that we saw just kind of sinking off into the ground on that one. This was good placement for the crusher cranes. Now that'll basically nullify any sort of harassment that comes after this collector. Well, basically anyway. And script that Tengu. Down it goes, and it's choosing to transform in the less than opportune position, being right below two MiG fighters. Yes, indeed. Looks like we do have a navy yard coming back up. I think it's maybe an animation glitch out just a tad bit right there. Another heavy damage harvesters, or another heavily damaged harvester. This is the game of heavily damaged harvesters for sure. Neither player going for this naval expansion. I'm surprised to see that neither player is going for their naval expand. What is Messican really up to? Not too terribly much. Only having a handful of tanks, one striker, just a couple of jet tangus. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, the striker, will it get the kill? Yes, it does. Scratch one MiG. Does wind up getting the revenge kill on the MiG. Yeah, for that jet tanker that did wind up going down. Now Chris gonna be going back. Chris going to secure himself an eco lead and secure this fourth refinery out here on the water. And since there's really no naval presence aside from, I guess if you count the tsunami tanks, since they can technically go on land or sea. If you count them, oh Chris, oh never mind. That's gonna be Chris's fifth refinery. So Chris is looking to establish some serious eco dominance right now. Well, do we have any kind of answer from Messican? No, we do not. No refinery being built, no refinery on the way. That the only remaining refinery site says he could, possibly go to. This is spelling disaster very, very quickly for Messican, as these two refineries, they're going to give Chris the income he needs to really do whatever he wants. He could mass produce twin blades. He could throw down a battle lab. We see some tier 3 dreadnoughts coming out of the naval yard. That's really the only reason why I could imagine him building the naval yards if he was eyeballing dreadnoughts, because since there is no naval presence from Messican anywhere to be seen or to be spoken of, this cool subs, there's not really a point for cool subs. So I imagine that we more than likely will not be seeing them. PDD coming on down, covering over those 3 tsunami tanks and double striker VX. PDD shorthand 4-point defense drone, if you guys were not wondering. Good night, Chris. You greedy? You greedy, fam? I think he's greedy. He's most certainly greedy. Gonna be taking a 6th refinery, outnumbering Messican 2-1 on income right now. He will, once that finishes, he will outnumber Messican 2-1. That is unbelievably dangerous. Alright, you know what, Chris? If you're gonna be greedy, if he's gonna be greedy, he has to go greedy all the way. Throw down a battle lab, double war factory. That's a good first step. Maybe throw down a battle lab, get some APOC tanks coming out, but engagement is going to be happening. Focus firing, wasting shots on the barracks, not really doing anything. Kind of wasting the effect of that Emperor's Rage. Not the best uses that I've ever seen. I see heroic hammer tank in the mix. It's now those tsunami tanks, the entire force, going to be utterly vaporized. Not a single hope of success. Messican, I believe his hopes of winning just faded with that army. 2 heroic hammer tanks from that mix. Does Messican have anything? I do not believe so. It's one little idle ore collector, just kind of doing his own thing, you know, not really too fussed with what anybody else is doing, just doing his own thing. Chris does wind up losing that prospect. I did it again, collector. Calling the prospector his allies. It's from the grand it's because of For the Win 38 grand finals. I'm so used to saying prospector because it was a allied mirror match. Anyways, if you guys haven't seen For the Win 38, not 9, 39's not uploaded yet. This For the Win 38 semifinals or grand finals, I'll leave a link somewhere on the screen right about now ish. But Mechatank just trying to go around and get whatever kind of harassment done he possibly can. I mean, that's really Messican's best shot right now, but it's not that much of a shot since there's still this that's not really being answered. Refinery and Imperial docks taking out to the waters, but is it too little too late? Perhaps not. Whilst Chris does not actually have all that much in terms of ground presence, aside from those tanks, he has an impressive eco lead. However, not the greatest with all of these refineries that he has. He's more than likely floating a good bit of cash with, I think he's realized it now, setting both of his war factories just to mass produce hammer tanks, which really at this, with double Soviet war factory production, if a Soviet player ever gets double war factory and has enough money to sustain them, then you're basically looking at a death ball inside of the next, like, 80 seconds. There's going to be a death ball of hammer tanks on the map. This, unless you have a death ball equally as big or bigger, or it's just, or you take the engagement of your life, then you're going to be in trouble. What was that? I thought I saw what looked like an Akula sub, but maybe that was just multiple Stingrays. Could very well have just have been multiple Stingrays. Chopper VX is just kind of, he's wasting shots on the Tesla coil. I'd love to see Messican give this Chopper VX an attack order on the already heavily damaged Harvester and just go ahead and pick that off. That would be such an efficient use of that Chopper VX. And it's going to want to transform this Mechatank, otherwise it's going to get zapped. And zapped. Down it goes. Zapped right out of existence. And it's now Messican. Chris may have the death. Oh, no. Chris has a death ball. Well, Chris has a death ball, but his death ball has no AA. So, really, all that has to be done, well, it has AA now. It's in the form of 2 bullfrogs, but oh no, Messican! No, Messican! You're throwing away Chopper VXs! And down they go. Chopper VXs down 6th refinery actually did wind up falling. Was that an MCV cell? That was an MCV cell. Say what? Okay, so Chris is down an MCV and a Crusher Crane, but Messican, he doesn't have the firepower to hold this. It's just not gonna happen. He doesn't have the power to hold this. I do not think. Once this Mecha Bay goes down, unless that is a Chopper VX, and unless it got sniped straight out of the Mecha Bay, that is going to be the end of everything here on land. Messican did manage to get the Crust Dojo way too little too late, and now Terror Drone locking down that MCV. It cannot go anywhere. Messican, that was nice. That was a nice strategic sell-off of that power generator, trying to get that Terror Drone knocked out, but it does not matter as the force multiplier of the Hammer Tanks is just too big. Are we gonna have a base race? We might actually have a base race here. No, we're not. No, we will not have a base. Oh, there are tankers on the ground. If Messican is paying attention, oh, Messican, you're losing your stuff. You're losing your stuff. You're losing your stuff. Oh, you're losing your stuff. If that chopper goes down, he can't win. Oh, Messican. Messican's still hanging on. He's still hanging on. There's nothing left. Can Chris get out onto the water? I don't think Chris can get onto the water. I'm not sure if Chris can get onto the water, but Messican can. He is. If this super reactor explosion kills that chopper, that is it. That's the end. Messican might actually pull it. Really, at this point, there's really no point in trying to kill. Yeah, he wanted to be careful, so he just went ahead and pulled that army on back. There's nothing left. There's no AA. Chris has lost all of his anti-air. Refinery, reactor, refinery. He has Yuri mini subs out in the water. A heroic Chopper VX gonna mop up the Hammer Tanks. No anti-air for Chris. Oh, Chris. He had the game in the palm of his hand, and the death ball was real. The death ball was happening. But now Chris is likely just left wondering where it all went so wrong. It's now a single solitary Chopper VX is going to be all that it takes to really clean up. He knows about the engineer, but the Yari mini subs, they are not fast enough. Needs to give them a move order directly in front. There it goes. And that is scratch one engineer. Heroic Chopper VX gonna completely finish mopping everything up, and that is it. Chris seeds the game and taps out. GG, well played to both of these players. That game had quite the interesting ending. Chris, once he had that death ball, I much anticipated him just to kind of roll across the map and just kind of slap Messican right out of existence. But that was a little bit of a micro fail. It's a really close call of a micro fail. Sending in his bullfrogs that close to the choppers, like the bullfrogs have a range advantage over Chopper VXs, right? So ideally what you'd want to do is keep them at a range, engage them at a range, so that the bullfrogs can fire upon the Chopper VXs, but the Chopper VXs cannot return fire upon the bullfrogs. And while the Mecha Tankers were there, they could have chased down the bullfrogs. Yes, the bullfrogs have enough armor to kind of weather that, at least until the choppers are dead. So there's a little bit of that element thrown in there. If those bullfrogs, if they hadn't all just charged in, if they hadn't charged in, that's problem number one. Number two, if they hadn't charged in single file, had they gone in as, say, a group or in a line formation, a horizontal line formation going down the ridge, I think that would have turned out much differently. And had that happened, I think Messican would have lost his final Chopper VX. Because, I mean, as we saw from the health bar, there was a very tiny sliver of health left on that Chopper VX. So, and had there been another Bullfrog flat gun on there, on target for like just another second longer, just another half second, that would have been enough to cause that Chopper VX to fall straight from the sky, be dead, done, dusted, and suddenly Chris's death ball would have been unkillable, but he couldn't kill the last unit that could actually end his death ball. And so that was one. This is kind of a prime example of how one micro fail can result in the end of the game, can cost you the game. And also another prime example of eco isn't necessarily everything, especially against Empire. If you just start spamming out a death ball, make sure you throw some AA in there too. Anti-air is an absolute must. You must have anti-air in that army. Otherwise, the chopper VXs will be rolling out, and what just happened will happen very swiftly. As we can see from the resources grab, Chris was substantially ahead. Thanks to that 6 refineries, he was pretty ahead. But Messican, he wasn't as bad off on the eco as perhaps I would have anticipated him being. Maybe that was probably supplemented due to the fact that he did wind up getting his 4th refinery, as he actually wound up, I will give Messican props in that he was on the harassment ball. Like, every chance he got, it's like every time I turned around, every time we pan over on the map to another refinery location, there was a Mecha Tengu there. 9 times out of 10, Mecha Tengu there doing the harassments. Even if he loses the Tengu at that point in the game with that much money, you can kind of afford losses like that. Just shy of 18 minutes of a game, 87,000 to 73,000, but Messican was just more efficient about his units, and his units were just more oriented about hard counters. And I hate to keep harping on it, but I say it again, it's the one micro fail I think could have, I just don't think that is what decided the game to run in Messican's favor. Had Chris run that 15-second span just a little bit differently, he would have won that game no problem at all. But still, GG to both of these players. Well played, and thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. And this is Sniper, signing out.